Hello, this is Manish Patel from the EIA Capital Group. Today is April 4, 2011. This is our weekly Ichimoku analysis for the currency markets, where we cover everything from the major pairs to other pairs. Before we begin, normal disclaimer. This is for educational use only. All charts are either in Thinkorswim, TradeStation, or freestockcharts.com. Here are my contact details. You could email me at mpatel@eiacapital.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Ichimoku Trading, or you could go to our website and access any of the free videos at eiacapital.com. Okay, we got a lot to cover, so let's begin as we normally do. And let's go straight to the heat map. Ooh, that's a little big. Okay, and what we're looking for, we're going to look at D0, that's the current Ichimoku rating for the daily time frame, and W0, which is the current Ichimoku rating for the weekly time frame. What we're looking for are, for the bullish side, 5 to 8 being extreme bullish, and -5 to -8 being extreme bearish. Okay, and if you look here, Euro USD is a good candidate. Sorry, Euro USD, as you can see, 8.8 across the board on both the daily and the weekly, and that's what it was before too. The D5s were basically for the Ichimoku rating from 5 days ago, so you can see if it's increasing or decreasing. So you can see that Euro USD is bullish all on both the daily and the weekly. We'll analyze the major pairs there. If you look at the British Pound USD, it's now going to be bullish. Here's 3. We're kind of looking for a 5 for a trade possibility there, so we'll look at that one for sure. If you look here, New Zealand USD is starting to get strong, so it looks like the dollar is getting weak across the board. If you look at Australian USD, it's bullish across the board. Last week was probably a week for a possible trade for the Australian USD. UScad is bearish, and it went even more bearish from last week, so it's continuing its bearish run. There's no signs of a pullback or bullish move at all for the UScad. US Switzy, if you look at it, it's got a little bullish nature on the daily time frame, so it looks like it's consolidating there. Australian yen is basically bullish, going down. If you look here, kind of looking for 5s, because that's what we're looking for in the daily time frame, and that's kind of ideal. As you can see, a lot of them have pretty much sat there and moved up, and the reason why is last week there was a couple of days where a lot of the currencies just gapped. So they went instantly from like 3 or 4 straight to 5 on bullish nature. If you look here, the pound, New Zealand is consolidating. Over here, Australian Switzy, there's nothing really there. There may be a trade for New Zealand CAD. We'll have to look at that one there. Oh, here's one, pound Switzy. So we'll go look at pound Switzy. Weekly's already bearish, strong, and daily's just -5 now. So we'll definitely look at pound Switzy as a possible trade moving forward. The other one we'll look at is pound. Well, nope, we got 2 pound Switzys in there. Anyway, so we'll go look at pound Switzy. So before we begin, let's go look at the major currency pairs. Remember, on the left-hand side is your daily time frame, and on the right-hand side is your weekly time frame. As you can see from the weekly, we've been bullish trending. We're getting to this high right here, which is at 42.74. 42.79. We pretty much have got there almost. Key thing now is, what is this Euro USD going to do on the weekly time frame? It's still very, very strong. However, a minor pullback could sit there and cause this thing to cause a double top, and everyone could sit there and start thinking about shorting this. So be very, very careful there. Okay. So if you look at the daily time frame here, you could see it's bullish trending completely. You can see it's bullish trending on the daily time frame. It's still very strong here, but you could see it had a little fake top here, bar right there. You don't really know if that's a fake top yet until price crosses back over the Tinkin and the Cajun. So this is still very strong. You have to be bullish in nature, but if you have not entered already, be very careful at entering anything now. If you're in the Euro USD, I would definitely tighten your stops, because you don't know which way it's going to go. Let's go look at the pound USD. If you look at the pound USD, it started a trend, but then it went below and started pulling back. Did a little fake breakout here and then pulled back. It hasn't violated the Cajun at all, so this is still very, very strong to the top side, as you can see. However, the Tinkin on the weekly, which also relates to the Cajun on the daily, is a major barrier here. So we got a major resistance level of 61.68 that it's got to break through. If it breaks through that, then this thing can go higher. Let's go look at the US CAD real fast. US CAD is bearish all the way around. It did have a chance last week of maybe sitting there if it just consolidated, maybe getting some momentum to the bullish side, but it actually moved a leg down drastically last week, which pretty much took out any bullish action at all. So be very careful if you're trying to go long USCAD, where a lot of people in Canada are still trying to do. So be very careful. You're going to get caught because you're actually moving into no man's territory, where this thing can drop all the way back down to 9,300 or also 9,000, believe it or not. So be very careful there. Let's go look at Australian USD. Look at this move on Australian USD on the daily time frame. Straight up, no pullback at all. So we got to wait for a pullback here to occur. If you look here on the weekly, it was basically at a double top here, or kind of a little minor double triple top here. Broke through. Now we're waiting for some price action here, but the daily kind of shows us that we definitely need a pullback to occur before entering this trade at all. If we enter now, it's kind of overbought, so we really need to wait for a pullback before entering at all. New Zealand USD. If you look at New Zealand USD, same scenario. What I love about this is it just broke out of the cloud. One minor pullback here, and this could set up a nice trend to go bullish on a long-term basis. If you look at the weekly, it's consolidating right now. So we definitely, if we get a pullback here, we could possibly sit there and set up for a long-term bullish trend as far as New Zealand USD is concerned, but for a long-term. But we got to wait and see what happens there. Let's go look at. Let's see, Australia, New Zealand. If you look at Australia, New Zealand, it's bullish trading on the weekly time frame, but it's in the pullback phase right now. A support level is going to be about 34.15. If you look at the weekly time frame, you could see that it's pulling back already because it's below the Cajun Sin. Let's go look at some other currencies. Euro-Switzy. If you look at the Euro-Switzy on the weekly time frame, it was bearish. Bearish trending. Now it's kind of consolidating. It's got this major support level, resistance level here, 31.94. That's got a break. If you look at the daily time frame, we basically broke out of the cloud. We need a pullback now, and then to continue going forward. So we possibly could sit there and enter a bullish trend as far as the daily is concerned, which would be a counter trend movement to the weekly time frame. Now let's go look at what we got. Pound Switzy. Let's go look at Pound Switzy. That was the strongest one on a possible trade. Let's go see if there's a trade out there. Okay, if you look at the trade here, this is bearish trending on the weekly time frame is concerned. On the over here, if you look here, definitely not quite ready yet. It's got to go above the cloud, but that's one thing it hasn't done yet. So we definitely got to wait for this thing to sit there and start breaking above the cloud, which it definitely hasn't done. So that's one thing we have to wait for the sentiment to change. But once that sentiment changes, then we got a chance of it going forward. You could see from here, from the Ichimoku heat map, it's neutral right now, but we definitely need it to. Oh, what am I doing? This is bearish. Bearish trending here. You could see that. Well, let's retract this one. Okay, so the sentiment right now is basically neutral. The reason why is basically the price has gone above the Tinkinson Cajuns in here. This doesn't look like it's bearish trade anymore because this has gone neutral. We got to wait for it to kind of come down and set up some targets there. That's one of the reasons why the rating here is -5. And we're waiting for a trigger setup now. The trigger setup is going to be basically if it sits there and breaks its support level 47.39 to the downside, then we possibly have a trade there. If it goes above the cloud, then this basically would change sentiment completely. Okay, let's go look at some other pairs. EuroCAD. If you look at EuroCAD, it's consolidating in the weekly. It's in the pullback phase here. It's got to hold this level of 36.80 as far as the support is concerned, and then it's got to start moving up very soon. If it doesn't, then this thing's going to sit there and probably slam the other way. Euro Australian. If you look at Euro Australian, there's really nothing there. Pound Japan. Oh, we got to look at the yen pairs. If you look at the pound yen trade, it's basically consolidating as far as the weekly time frame is concerned. The daily looks bullish. This looks like a shakeout right here, but you got to wait for a pullback to occur before you can even start going long there. Let's go look at the US yen. US yen is bearish on the weekly time frame, which we kind of expect. So anything that we do on a daily time frame as far as going bullish will be counter-trend to weekly. We really need a pullback here for the US yen to about 82.74 if possible for this thing to continue to keep on going. If it comes down to 82.74, holds that level, then this thing has a possibility of breaking through and possibly getting up to 86 level and up and above. Lastly, we'll cover CAD yen. If you look at CAD yen, same thing as the other yen pairs. However, notice it has closed above the cloud on the weekly, so the sentiment is bullish there. Doesn't mean it's trending, but the sentiment's bullish. All we need is a minor pullback to occur, possibly to this level around here, 85.58 or 85.02. We get that, and then a continuation to go top. Continuation to go bullish. This thing easily possibly can get up to about 90, believe it or not. So watch out for the CAD yen in the next couple of weeks for a potential upward trend if price action behaves normal. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. See